Okay, so what was the point of these codes? I made a note of them, of the ones I found and also the ones I looked up. But what was the point of the codes then, if they're not like? What's the point of the box? The box has been a recurring thing in all 3 games, and we know it's got something to do with Xiaojun, and it came from Ezio Auditore. What was the point of the book? Like this, here is this random MacGuffin that we know nothing about, and we don't know what it does. It's just there, and it's, in a way, it kind of summarizes quite well Assassin's Creed Chronicles as a whole, of an interesting idea not fully thought out or fully fleshed out. So, for example, there are loads of interesting parts of this game, like the 3 games, but they were really frustrating and they weren't fleshed out properly. I really liked, in this game and in India, the sniping, which you couldn't really do in China, I don't think, as easily. Although, of course, China invented gunpowder and fireworks before we did, so it's quite possible that they might think they created... I don't know, did they create guns first? Oh, maybe they did, actually. I mean, it is basically a shrunk-down version of a... Oh, I think they did. I think they did. So, you could have had that in all 3 games, especially, Assassins. Here is a strange, long-ranged version, longer-ranged rifle version of what they might have already had, or a simplified version rather. Because I think, well, hand cannons were medieval. I don't know. Alas, my Asian history is rather lacking in comparison to my European history, but then again, I'm a European. So, European history has driven more of my world than Asian history has. So there were a lot of little things. I think towards the end, I got a feeling of you get bonuses. Well, like, one of my thoughts after the last session was you get a lot of bonuses for not killing people. And towards the end of this, there are a lot of positions where they put you in positions where you almost have to kill people to be able to advance and progress. And I think that's kind of one of the things that bugged me, is that I want to not kill people so I can get more points, but I have to kill people, otherwise I can't continue. And I think I found that to be the case a lot more in this one than in the other 2. This is probably my least favourite, despite having loads of sniping elements, which I did really like. But I enjoy sniping in other games like Andromeda and Sniper Elite V2, and I want to get back to Sniper Elite 3 at some point. I have so many games I want to get back that I've either started or stopped for whatever reason, or I just generally want to get to again. We're getting all the translations now, which I think means we're close to the end, but we might not be. I liked having Anastasia Romanov be a character. I did really like, I know I've already mentioned this session, I did really like having the 2 characters and bouncing between them as they help each other in different missions. So, you need Nikolai to protect Anna, like taking out some of the guys with shots so she can get through. And then you go to Anna and she's doing you're running with Anna. And then Nikolai comes back. In that last one, I think it was like Anna was running, and then Nikolai had to go and flip a switch, and then Anna could run again, and then Nikolai came along and so on. Bouncing back and forth. I did like that. I think that worked. And I think I think the problem with this is the problem I have with some other games that I've played, including Baldur's Gate, which is, I can see a lot of good in this game, but it's obscured by, for me, a lot of bad, or a kind of random difficulty kind of going up. I still don't understand how the point system works. That has been a rant basically from China, or a complaint from China, I should say, that has kind of stayed through, is I don't understand fully how the scoring works. because I would have thought that the scoring for, say, a gold shadow would have been consistent, but I don't think it was. So you could do really well with a bronze shadow. And I think there were times where I scored better on bronze shadows, bronze brawlers. I don't know what they were in this game. In comparison to gold shadows, there were times when there was a disconnect. Certainly, there were times when a bronze something scored better on average than a gold of that version, and I don't know if they just didn't know how to score things well, in a balanced way. I don't know. I don't understand. The codes have been in from China. I've got them on a little card here. I've made sure to have them close at hand when I've been playing this game, because apparently they do pop up at some point. And they've not popped up. And because it's in my head because someone commented on it on the Assassin's Creed 3 series, is what's the connectivity from this to other games? I know Liberation didn't... Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation didn't have really a main... a modern story other than this is a game that Abstergo are trying to put out, let's find out the real story. But that's not really a great modern day story. Like, at least Juno reappeared in 4, like she'd kind of gotten into their system through Desmond, but then she didn't show up again in Rogue, as you would have thought, and she hasn't shown up since. Like, you'd think that maybe she'd try and manipulate the games that are coming out so that either she's in a better light or she can somehow use them in a way to kind of take over the world, classic stuff. Which then means as an assassin playing the game, you're now doing two different things. You're trying to deal with the Templar Abstergo stuff, but you're also trying to deal with the Juno stuff, and so there's more of a tension going on. I think the last game that had a decent modern day story was actually Rogue, where your character from 4, your character who's been playing the games is playing through Rogue and decides to join the Templars, and I really liked that, and I think it would have been really cool to have gone further with that. But they've just, like, in Unity, it was, hey, I'm just playing around, I've just got there a console, and I'm just randomly playing it, and, oh, someone's hacked into my console, and now I'm working for the Assassins for some reason. But there's no reason for you to do it, there's no... I think the conclusion to the main story was that the sage had been put in the Paris catacombs, because they were looking for the body. Well, at least that means that, the Templars won't be able to get him. Hooray! Like, well, we've not found the body. It's a failure. And so in this game, there hasn't seemed to be any kind of modern day story at all. For a side game like this, these are very, very different. You can get away with it. I think Liberation got away with it. I think Rogue didn't need one necessarily, but I think it was really good that it had one. But here we've not had anything, and to be fair, we didn't have much in Unity. I don't know what it's going to be like in Syndicate when we get to it. I do have Syndicate, we will be getting to it. It's in London! I get to complain about southern people. It's brilliant. And, I say that, I'm not entirely sure I have anything against southern people. I've been to London, wasn't a huge fan. It'll be interesting to see what kind of British history is mentioned. I know it's Victorian period. But I don't know what the modern day story is going to be. I'm kind of worried it's going to be either similar to Unity in that it's going to be, hey, we're taking over your games console, hacking to find a thing that we're not actually going to find, because that'd be silly, finding the thing you're looking for. And at the same point, words gone little. It'll be interesting to see kind of the other option, of course, is there we go. is it might go down this route and have no modern day story at all, which I'm not sure is a good thing. I think, although to be fair, I think maybe they could just scrap it at this point anyway, and just be done with it. Music, I'll do a music thing for all of them. I think I've really liked all of the music. It has kind of been in keeping, similar to the art style, kind of seems to be at times very kind of traditional style of what the period they're kind of trying to evoke. So there were a number of these, like obviously the art style of all three has been different, just in game. Like when you get to obviously the cutscenes, all the cutscenes have seemed to fit their kind of style of the period that they're trying to evoke, which has been really good. Like this one has been very kind of Soviet propaganda-y, and I quite like that. It's been also a little bit grainy, I think, to try and get across a kind of Soviet-era recording, although I don't think there would be many recordings in... I was going to say, no, don't think there'd be many recordings in the 1910s, but of course, I think the first one was in the 1880s. There were a few in Britain that were very early, that were the earliest, I think. Like, was it a bridge in Leeds or something? Was it Leeds Bridge or whatever it was called? Wildly off topic. So there would be some recordings. So I think they kind of went for a grainy filter on this. And all of the art kind of seems to evoke kind of Soviet propaganda. The China one seemed like Chinese watercolor. And... oh, you don't need random number generators for this. Just set everything up. And I'm just complaining. And the second one, India, seemed to have that kind of style to it, which I think was very kind of an interesting way of doing things. I think I liked Nikolai as a character. I liked him. He didn't want to stay in the Assassins anymore, not because he wanted to leave the Assassins, but he saw I assume the Russian Civil War coming. He's like, right, time to get out of Russia, and that means leaving the Assassins. So I think there were elements there that I did quite like, but I also liked that even though that he was doing that to look after his family, and so his goal, his heart was his family, and that was his character, and so I think that's why he felt for Anastasia, that she was trapped and she was stuck, and he needed to help her as he is a father figure, and that's how he views himself, as a father, and so therefore he has to help her because she is she's under threat because people are trying to kill her. She is under threat because of Xiao Jun kind of coming into her and maybe taking over or whatever. So he's kind of trying to protect her from all those different things. And he gives her a word she's going to be safe. And he's like, okay. And that's what, at the end with the Assassins, he's like, oh, she's not going to be safe. I've got to go and save her. So I did like elements of I did really like his character. I think you could say that about all of the kind of main characters we've played. Maybe not Xiao Jun to begin with, where she's very, very... she's overconfident and to a point of arrogance. Who was the guy in India? It's like Pyara Kaur, I think, was the princess's name. I can't remember his name. That's going to really bug me. But, I mean, he was a very loving character as well, in a different way, because he had the relation... Ooh, okay. Right. What have we got? We got 3, 2, 2. 1, 2, 1. 3, 1, 2. Okay, I'm gonna... So... I've liked all the characters, pretty much. Oh, we got that, and 1, 1, 1. Oh, it only goes up to 3s, okay. 2 and 2. 2, 1, 3, and finally... Letitia England's office, present day.
You sent for me?
I have, Master Berg.
An urgent matter, I presume.
Shay Cormac's precursor box. You recovered it last year when assassins stole it? Before we knew what it was.
Before I uncovered Shay's memories.
I need you to deliver it to Dr. Grammatica.
Very well. Where?
A secret location. Not even I know where it is. Grammatica will send you the coordinates. Master Berg, no one is to know about this. Understood?
Understood.
Master Berg! Is this it? The precursor box?
Delivered as ordered, Master Grammatica.
Curious little item, isn't it?
What do you plan to do with it?
I'm hoping it will help me better understand another artifact we have uncovered.
What kind of research are you doing here?
Project Phoenix, Master Berg. Project Phoenix!
Okay, so there is a kind of modern day story to it where, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what playing the game was in aid of. Like, were we just finding the history of the box? We still don't know what it does, but I like the fact that at least it's connected to something else. It's connected to Assassin's Creed Rogue. Clearly, I think he was from there. Was Grammatica involved in Rogue as well? Maybe. I don't know. But obviously that's kind of that connects to our character. I don't remember Shay having a box, but hey, I'm clearly forgetting things. We had Unity in between. We had the Unity DLC, and we've had these 3 games. So I think I'm allowed to forget things. If I'm not, then I'm in deep trouble because I forget things in basically every Let's Play. So yeah, there we go. So that's that. There we go. There's Chronicles. I think I would have liked it if that hadn't have been hidden, and if it started with a bit of a maybe some connection to the story. Wait, hang on. How could that be Shay's box? I'm really confused now. How could that be Shay's box? Because Shay was around, what, 1750s? So, it was, China was 16th century, I think. Yeah, I think China must have been the 16th century, and India was the 19th century, and, the assassins had the box between there. So how is it Shane Cormac's box? I'm really confused. Or is that a different box? Or are they saying that Shay had the box and then because he was an assassin and then the assassins got it back from him? For India? Or did the Templars have it at the beginning of India? I can't remember. Everything's gotten so confused. I don't know what's going on anymore. Right, but I think it would have been good to have had more of a main kind of modern day story, and I think that's true for all of the games. Certainly the more recent ones after 3. No, that's not fair. I did like it in Black Flag, and I liked it in Rogue, working in the Abstergo office. I think that kind of fit. Abstergo Entertainment. I think that did kind of fit, and I think it did kind of work to an extent as a follow to 3. It's just it hasn't gone anywhere since. Unity's was rubbish. This was a bit meh. Partially because I think they should have opened China with something, and they could have opened China with something and then closed it with something to link into India and have a major connection for the player at least. Because there's no connection in the characters other than Xiao Jun kind of takes over Anastasia's body, and the box shows up, and those are the only 2 real connections. I think having an overarching main story that started in China and was very much explicit, I think would have worked better. But that is just my view, and that's kind of why I ramble on in the credits, to give people my view. So there we go. Not sure what's going to follow this. We might do the last Blackwell game, we might go to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, or we might just take a break from either of those. We'll find out next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching.